Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio, episode 21. As always, I am your host, Nigel, and today we're going to get right into it. But first, before we begin, as we wait for people to come in and join me, how was everyone's week? How was everyone's day? How's everyone doing so far with all that's going on? Drop in the comments. I'd love to hear from you all. And before we get into last week's riddle and everything, I just want to take this time to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting me through System Shock Radio up until this point. I mean, from episode 1 on all the way to episode 21, from my day ones back in Phoenix Rising Radio all the way to now. I just truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to say thank you. Thank you to all those who tuned in to the 20th episode anniversary that I did, not last week, but week before last, with my parents. So, interesting story behind that. So, we were talking about System Shock Radio, and they mentioned to me that they wanted to eventually do something with System Shock Radio. They said, "Neither we want to get involved somehow." Oh, and pitching sort of ideas to get other people involved in this, because eventually me just here by myself, like, it's a bit boring and repetitive sometimes. And they suggested, how about an interview with possibly parents or something, and you can sit down and interview us too. And I thought about it, and I decided that's the way we're going to go with that. For episode 20, we are going to do the interview. So I came up with the interview questions, and we sat down. We had Alana film everything, and we did the interview. And I'm so glad to see that a lot of you enjoyed it, a lot of you tuned into it, and for those who tuned into it, just want to say thank you. For those who've been following me throughout this entire time, I want to say thank you, and just want to thank you all so much. Honestly, I could say 1,000 in words. I could say thank you 1,000 times, and yet it still would pale in comparison to how much I actually thank you and love you all for the support you've shown. We're back to going live. I cracked. I eventually had to go to live producer. Okay, Facebook Live. I'll play by your rules. But with that being said, we're going to get right into last week's riddle. And last week's riddle, as read by my dad, was this: what comes once in a minute, twice in a moment, but never in 1,000 years? And let's read it one more time. What comes once in a minute, twice in a moment, but never in 1,000 years? And the answer to that one, very, very simple. The letter M. So M starts right at minute. Hi, Nehemiah. Good to see you. The letter M comes right at the beginning of minute, and in the word moment, it comes right at the beginning, and then it's the third letter in there. So we got two M's in there, but in the word 1,000 years, no M's at all. So if you got that right, congratulations to you, and stay tuned at the end of this episode so that you can learn what the riddle for next week's going to be. But without further ado, we are going to jump right into it, and we are going to talk about next-gen consoles. We are talking about the PS5. So, as you may or may not be aware, the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are both coming out this year around November 20th. But the PlayStation is what I'm interested in. Not really much of an Xbox guy, but the PlayStation 5 is what I was interested in. So, because of everything that's going on with the protests against racism, and a lot of companies coming in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, and in the support of African Americans and black people everywhere, Sony, which made the PlayStation, they're the owners, they're the makers of the PlayStation, decided we're going to push back our conference, and they pushed it back to not last Thursday, but Thursday before last. And well, Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not this Thursday just passed, but the Thursday before that. And they showed off the PS5. They showed us what it looked like. They went over some of the specs, some of the things that the PlayStation's going to be able to do. And good to see you, Mr. Jai Luck. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but they showed us a lot of things that the PS5 is going to be able to do. And oh, baby, it looks so incredible. Like, the design looks so sleek and so absolutely beautiful, looks so good, and I cannot wait for November 20th to come so that I can get my hands on the PS5. Now, with it coming out on November 20th, that's going to be right near Thanksgiving or Black Friday, so there may be a sale. So if you are thinking about picking up the PS5, and you're thinking, hopefully there's a sale on Black Friday, hey, it just might be, who knows? But one of the things that interested me so much about it, besides just design, like just looking at the design, it looked phenomenal, it looked fantastic. But what really got me was some of the specs, and the processors are supposed to be running super duper fast. It's supposed to have the 4K output, which for those who own a PS4, we had to wait until we got to the PS4 Pro, which is actually what I own, and we had to wait to get that to get the 4K output for our 4K TVs, so that the games can look stunning and look beautiful, and you really can tell the difference between the regular PS4 and the 4K, a updated PS4 Pro. Like, I remember when I got my 4K TV, which I actually also got on Black Friday, and the PS4 Pro, I hooked it up and I looked at it and it looked phenomenal. Now, you can't tell the difference at first, but then when I saw I saw some gameplay footage from the regular PS4, you can really tell the difference. But PS5 is going to have that built right in, and with all the specs and everything that I was looking at, it's going to be an absolute powerhouse. And for those of you who are interested in checking out, maybe you missed the conference or so, or want to see what exactly I'm talking about when it comes to the specs, I will have a link to the article, and I'll post it on my page so you can click on that link and check it out for yourself. Looks absolutely wonderful. The games lineup that they have for the PS5 is absolutely going to be incredible. They announced a standalone Spider-Man video game starring Mr. Miles Morales. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And a new Ratchet and Clank game, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And this game is going to sort of test the processor. So the PS5 is supposed to run super duper fast in real time, and Rift Apart is going to have portals that you can use, that you can go from one area to the next pretty much instantly to test out the PS5. So I imagine it's going to be a great launch game for the PS5's library. And we've got other stuff. We got a new Horizon Zero Dawn coming out. We've got GTA 5, because I guess they really don't feel like making a GTA 6. And it's going to be phenomenal. I absolutely cannot wait for the PS5 to come out. For my Xbox Series X people that are getting the Xbox when it comes out, no offense to you all, but I'm excited for the PS5. But enough of me gushing about that. Let's talk about American Idol. American Idol / X Factor / America's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent, stuff like that. Basically, these singing competition TV shows. These are interesting for me, and it's because they're shows that have been somewhat mired in controversy, but are so entertaining for a lot of people to watch. And one of the reasons is that oftentimes, of course, there's bad auditions, people who think that they can sing, but they really cannot, that go on there. But shows like this have produced some of the recording artists that we know from nowadays, such as One Direction, Kelly Clarkson, Jordan Sparks, Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson was on here, or etc., etc. So this show arguably makes stars, and you can't argue with that. But the bad auditions, and a lot of us find entertaining because seeing these people attempt to sing and then just get shut down by the judges. Something about it is oddly therapeutic. It may make you feel a little less bad about your own singing ability watching these people. No offense to them. If you're watching this, if you went on a show like American Idol or X Factor and you didn't do so good and you're watching this, which you're probably not, sorry, but it's just somewhat funny. But it's one of the main reasons why I know I'm probably never, ever gonna go on a show like that, because I already know I can't sing. I am definitely not what you consider a singer or per se, and I don't think I do that well on a show like this. But for those of you tuning in, if you really want to see your boy on a show like that, if you cash at me or PayPal me $1,000, I promise you I will go on that show. Probably not going to happen, but if you cash out me that money, I'll consider it. But until then, I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to embarrass myself on live TV with my tone deaf self. It's just not going to happen for now. But the show also, like I mentioned, does have some controversy behind it. Some people have accused it of voter rigging. Some people have said that it follows a pattern where it's like, if you check off these boxes, if you're a white male, if you have a guitar, if you have a sob story, you're usually going to get far in the show. And that's why the show is somewhat painted in a negative light. That and the judges, when they judge you, and sometimes the judges, I'll admit, have some pretty harsh words. Like, now usually the judges are people in music, like Paula Abdul on American Idol, and Louis Walsh, Sharon Osbourne, and of course the infamous Simon Cowell, perhaps the king of hurting people's feelings, ruining people's feelings. But it's stuff like that that does paint the show in a bit of a negative light. Sometimes issues with the voting, because oftentimes the voting is voted on by the people tuning in, watching the show. Oh, some people have accused that type of voting system of being inaccurate, of being flawed, cheating people out of chances to win shows like American Idol or X Factor or America's Got Talent, stuff like that. And then even sometimes when the judges get offended at you. So this show, Australia's Got Talent, had one singer on there, Owen Campbell, and Owen and Campbell was really talented, but when he came out, he rubbed the judges the wrong way, and they felt like he was giving them a bad attitude. He said he wasn't. A lot of people said he wasn't, but to them, it seemed like they were on their high horse and sort of felt like he was giving them attitude, and so they said no to him. They didn't let him go through the next round, but he did a do-over audition, and I believe they said yes this time. But I will post, I'm going to post a link to that as well, and I want you to make the decision for yourself. Was Owen being cocky? Was he being rude with the judges? I don't think so. I think he was kind of playing around with them a little bit, and they took it the wrong way. Unfortunately, that happens oftentimes. It's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. And they may have taken it the wrong way, and Owen may have got blamed for it. So I will post that as well on my page, perhaps in the description or the comment section of this video. So if you're tuning into this video and you want to see that, I will have the links for you in the comment section for this. But we're going to move on to movie tie-in video games. We're going back to the video games, people, and we're going to talk about movie tie-in video games. Now, the world of movies is one that a lot of us have enjoyed for so long. A lot of people, including myself, love a good movie. And someone in the video game industry said, hey, hey, let's combine the best of both worlds. What if we combine movies and video games? So, for a lot of us who grew up in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, they don't really do it that much nowadays, but we've played, or at least have heard of at one point, a movie tie-in video game. Actually, even in the 80s. But the thing about movie tie-in video games is that they kind of suck for a variety of reasons. In fact, one of them, based off the movie E.T., absolutely classic movie, a movie that almost everyone has loved, but a movie that I surprisingly have never seen. And I have never seen it, but the video game I've heard about, and the video game apparently sucked, and it's considered one of the worst video games of all time. But why else could movie video game tie-ins not work? Well, the answer is a bit elementary, my dear Watson, and that's because oftentimes these video games based off movies feel shallow. They feel empty. They feel almost obsolete, like they're going to fall off the map. You're not even going to remember that they came out. And sometimes they feel lazy. Oftentimes with these movie tie-in video games, yeah, it's based off the movie. Yeah, they got elements from the movie in there, but oftentimes they kind of steal ideas from other more successful video games. For example, one of my favorite video games to play that was kind of a movie tie-in was Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase on PS1. But now that I've gamed almost my entire life and I've come back to Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, what I've noticed is that they did steal quite a bit from other more successful video games to make this movie. So, the publisher behind this was THQ. THQ, unfortunately, is out of business. And THQ has always been one of my go-to video game publishers. I've played several games from them. I've loved them for years. But this game, this game is actually really fun. Like, I played it almost all the time when we were little, me and my little sister, and even just recently with a PS1 emulator that I have on my laptop, able to play again. But you can tell that they took ideas from a different game and put it in there, and that game is Crash Bandicoot. Now, I love Crash Bandicoot, and I absolutely love the Crash games. I have the Insane Trilogy. I played Crash Insanity. I actually remember my brother was playing Twinsanity, and it looked so much fun. I was like, "Ooh, that game looks fun!" And I played it. He let me play it, and then I got a copy of my own once my grandmother bought me the Crash Trilogy. Not Crash Trilogy, but it was 3 Crash games. It was Twinsanity, then Nitro Kart, then Crash Insanity, Nitro Kart, then Crash Taxi Racing. And Ace Cook, Frenchie, good to see you. Last of Us 2. I have not gotten to the Last of Us 2. I have not beaten the first one. And I want to beat the first Last of Us and then move on to 2. I played The Last of Us, absolutely enjoyed the crap out of it, but I never got to finish it. I think I got like halfway through the first Last of Us game, but I gotta play that, and then I gotta get to The Last of Us 2. So once I beat the first Last of Us game, then I'll move on to 2, and from there I will let you know. I do know that The Last of Us 2 just came out yesterday. Apparently a lot of gamers who have played it have had differing opinions about it. Some said it was good, some said it was not, and I gotta play it for myself. But even no matter what people say about games like that, always make your own decisions. Always play the game for yourself. Even if it's something like Sonic 06, which a lot of us know is terrible, well, at least play it for yourself to see, oh, okay, how terrible is it? Alright, and apparently, Frenchie, you did not like 1, did not, but I gotta finish it first. I do have to give it at least a fair shot. And And one thing I do like about The Last of Us is that had Naughty Dog really, it seemed like, did pay quite a bit of attention to sort of the story behind it. Naughty Dog, of course, the publishers behind Crash, and then they moved on to Jack and Daxter, another one of my favorite video game franchises, and then Uncharted. Absolutely loved Uncharted 1. Gotta move on to 2, then 3, and then I also gotta play Uncharted 4 or so. I will get to those soon. There's a lot of games that I gotta finish up. But speaking of Crash, we're going back to the movie tie-ins with Scooby-Doo. I guess that was sort of a great segue into it. So, there's 2 levels that they stole mainly for Scooby-Doo in the Cyber Chase. The first one actually takes place in the prehistoric jungle level for Scooby-Doo in the Cyber Chase. And it's the last part, the bridge section that you have to cross over. That was taken from the Road to Nowhere from Crash 1, on which the Road to Nowhere is a level that even Crash fans hate. If you're going to take a level from any Crash game and steal it for your game, why that one? Like when I played Reignite, thank you, Frenchie. When I played Crash Insane and I played The Road to Nowhere, I nearly ripped all my hair out. I didn't even need to go to the barber because my hair would have been ripped out. I would have been bald, stone cold, hashtag stone cold Nigel Dixie. Okay, I cannot believe I just made that joke. But The Road to Nowhere is what they stole for Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and another one that they stole was for the Ancient Egypt level. Now, in Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, I absolutely hated the Ancient Egypt level. Always one of my least favorite levels, even when I was growing up. And going back and playing it, I still hate it. But that was taken from the Egyptian pyramid level in Crash 3, which is actually a level that I haven't got to yet. I haven't played Crash 3 yet. I finished Crash 1 and Crash 2 in the Insane Trilogy. Haven't gotten to Crash 3 yet. But I guess the developers behind some of these movie tie-ins figure if they take elements from different games, it's going to work. But for the most part, it doesn't. Let's look at another example. The Alvin and the Chipmunks video game based off the movie that came out not too long ago, like a few years ago. I think 2006 or 2007 was when the Alvin and the Chipmunks video game came out, or movie I should say, and then the video game came out not too long after. I don't know, I didn't really like the Alvin and Chipmunks movies that much. The cartoon seems pretty cool, but movies, not really my thing, not really my cup of tea. But it was just a rhythm game, similar to like Dance Dance Revolution, and it was incredibly boring. I did not like this game at all. Now, contrary to what you may believe and what you may be hearing me saying, there are some gems in the rubble pile. For example, Spider-Man 2, based off the movie, was actually really fun for a lot of people, especially because of the pizza theme. When you did the pizza delivery missions, you know what theme I'm talking about. Anybody who's played the game, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll link that in the comment section of this video as well. But movie tie-in video games sometimes hit or miss. More times they're misses than they are hits. But for a lot of us, we didn't care. We had fun with some of them growing up. And for a lot of us, it defined childhoods, like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie video game, which is a game that I actually never played. I heard was actually really fun. Battle for Bikini Bottom Remastered is coming out next week. Can't wait to get that and play it on my Switch. So, I guess they weren't all bad, but some of them were. Some of them felt sort of slapped together. No care, no love. Just wanted your money, wanted to cash in on the video game market. Sort of double dip between movies and video games. But with that being said, we are going to move on to our last topic, and that is overcoming. So, in this world and in this climate that we live in now, now more than ever, the Black Lives Matter movement has become such a prevalent topic, and police brutality, racism, is still being talked about, it seems, now more than ever. And that is definitely not a bad thing. In fact, like, we definitely should learn about it. Those who haven't learned about it should definitely learn about it. For those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. And hopefully we aren't doomed to repeat it by learning about exactly why, hey, racism is wrong, why it was wrong then, why it's wrong now. And for those of you taking a stand against it, great. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Those of you bringing awareness to it through your posts, through making your voices heard, I am absolutely proud of all of you. Keep doing that, because eventually we're going to overcome racism, but we have to fight towards it. During the civil rights movement, they had to fight, right, for their rights, for the Civil Rights Act to pass, through the sit-ins, through the protests, through getting arrested. They knew that, okay, yeah, I'm getting beaten, I'm getting arrested, and that's going on my record, but I know that what I'm fighting for and what I'm going to achieve is going to be worth all the trouble. And that oftentimes is what separates true people who truly want to fight for their freedom and fight for their rights, and those who don't, is that dedication, knowing that no matter what comes our way, no matter what we may get through, what we may go through, I should say, we will get through, we will overcome, and we will rise up, and we will achieve our freedom. We will make our voices heard, and we will shout it out loud that we are free and that we are conquerors. And so overcoming is not something that's gonna happen overnight. In fact, it took years for the civil rights movement and to achieve its goal for the most part, and it still fully hasn't to this day, unfortunately. But if we keep fighting at it, if we keep pushing forward, we will overcome, absolutely. And that is where I'm going to end off this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you once again for 20 episodes, and now this is episode 21. And I can't wait till we get to 31 or 41 or 101. And I know that you all will be with me along the way. I thank you all so much for tuning in and joining me. A bit of a longer episode, but nevertheless, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and whatever comes our way, we will get through it together, trust me. But with that being said, we're going to close off this episode with my shiny new mic that I got. That's why I didn't want to go live last week, is because I had this coming in, and I figured, well, I might as well wait until I get this new mic, and let me know how it sounds. If I sound too off or it's not clear enough, let me know. But oh yeah, we're gonna end off with next week's riddle, and this one is: there is a butcher named Harry. He wears size 12 shoes and is 6'4". What does he weigh? And let's read it one more time. There is a butcher named Harry. He wears size 12 shoes and is 6'4". What does he weigh? Ladies and gentlemen, that's your will for next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you all later. Peace.